Someone asked me to see if it's okay to co-sign a house for their friend. Obviously, their friend didn't qualify enough to buy the home in the price range that they're looking for, so they needed a little help. What do you think?
That's a great question, Tom. I have a story for you. It's very similar. Every story is going to be a little bit different, but this one is a good lesson for people who are considering co-signing for their friend or family, especially if they're not going to be living in the house with them. So this is based on a true story. So we're going to just give them fake names to protect their identity. But this happened with a friend who co-signed for her best friend and fiance. So the friend's name, we're going to call her Tina. The best friend, we're going to call her Katie. And then the fiance, we'll call him John. So Katie and John was trying to get pre-approved to purchase a property, right? And Katie's credit wasn't enough, so she couldn't qualify. John could qualify, but he couldn't qualify for the house that they wanted. And so they needed additional income so that they can get the house that they want. And so Katie asked Tina to help co-sign a home for them. It's not a big deal, according to Katie, right? And so Tina agreed to do it. They've been best friends for a long time. Tina trusts Katie. And so she was like, sure, I could help you with that. And so they co-sign. She co-signs for her best friend. They find their house and they close on it and they live in it, right? So a year and a half later, Katie and John starts having problems, and they ended up breaking up.
Like what kind of problem?
Every couple has issues, but they couldn't reconcile, and so they were breaking up. And Katie wanted to keep the house, obviously, but John doesn't. He wants to just kind of be done with it, and so he wants to sell. Tina, on the other hand, she's kind of stuck in the middle of all the drama between their breakup, and between her best friend and her best friend's fiance. And so she kind of wanted to sell too. And so the two owners of the property wanted to sell. So Tina reached out to the real estate agent who helped them buy the house to list it and put it back on the market so that they can just sell it off, right? But John was... at first he agreed and he wanted to sell as well. So they were able to put it on the market. And then Katie and John got into a really big fight. And John kind of just ghosted everyone. So he kind of ghosted everyone. He disappeared. He stopped answering phones. Katie moved out and stayed with Tina. And John kind of just disappeared, vanished.
So what happened? Did the real estate agent able to reach out to John?
No. So the real estate agent was trying to get a hold of John, and he wouldn't answer the phone. And then he moved out of the property too. And so the real estate agent couldn't get a hold of John at all. And the thing is, an offer came in for list price, but they. Tina agreed to sell it, but they couldn't get a hold of John, so they couldn't give him an executed contract to proceed with the sale.
So did the buyer back out because they didn't respond?
Yeah, because they took too long. So the buyers ended up withdrawing their offer. And so the real estate agent finally got a hold of John, and John said that he felt like Katie, Tina, and the real estate agents were colluding because the real estate agent is actually Tina's friend as well.
Oh, okay.
She's not friends with Katie, but she's friends with Tina.
Okay.
And so he felt like they were all kind of colluding. They were trying to pull a fast one under him. Okay. And so that's kind of why he decided not to respond back to them and kind of just ghosted everyone, because he kind of wanted to just, he was just kind of like, screw it. I'm kind of done with this. And if it's going to go into foreclosure, then let it go into foreclosure. He didn't care anymore. And so that's why he stopped picking up. That's why he ghosted everyone.
So what's the issue? Why did it lead up to that?
Well, the issue is Katie wants a piece of the proceeds from the sale of the property.
Okay.
And John felt like she didn't deserve it because she was the reason that they broke up. But the thing is, Katie felt like she does deserve it because it was both Katie and John who went in half and half to purchase the property with their money for the down payment and closing costs and stuff.
But then John and Tina's name is on the mortgage, so when they sell it, wouldn't it go to...
Exactly. So the title company wouldn't even cut a check for Katie. So Katie's, it makes sense on what she's saying, but legally she's not entitled to anything from the sale of the property. Tina and John is.
Yeah. So what you saying was it like did Katie and John, they both put the money to purchase this home then?
Yes, in this story they did. So they both contributed and put money down towards the down payment and
Okay.
closing costs for the purchase of the home. And then they also both contributed in paying the monthly payment.
Okay.
And so, that's why Katie felt like she was entitled to half of that proceeds once they sell the property. But John felt like, she doesn't deserve it because she's the reason why they're breaking up and the reason why they have to sell it.
Gotcha.
And on top of that, legally, she has no rights to the house. And so he can decide if he doesn't even want to sell if he doesn't want to, right?
Right.
So that was the issue. And that was why they had the big fight and why Katie moved out and stayed with Tina and he kind of ghosted everyone.
I see. So in the beginning, why is it that Tina didn't purchase the home with John in the first place? Is there because Tina couldn't get a loan or?
You mean Katie?
Yeah. I mean, sorry. Katie.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, Katie didn't have enough credit, so she couldn't qualify for the mortgage.
I see.
Yeah, but John can. John could qualify, but his income wasn't enough to get the house that they wanted, and so they needed that extra income, and so that's why Tina helped them and co-signed for a house for them. And so they're trying to sell this property, and the buyers come in, sends them an offer, but because they couldn't respond in a timely fashion, the buyers withdrew their offer. And so since John no longer trusts the real estate agent, Tina and Katie, the real estate agent decided to refer the listing to one of her agents in her office. And eventually it sold. But it took a while for it to kind of everything get resolved and then sold and to build a relationship again with John, with the new real estate agent. But they did eventually sold. So at the end of the story, they were able to sell and, everyone went on their merry way. But Tina, I felt like Tina had the short end of the straw because, she went in helping her friend. They didn't even live in it for 2 years because there's a rule where you have to live in the house 2 out of the 5 years so that you don't have to pay for capital gains for taxes, right? And since they've only lived in there for 1.5 years, Tina is going to have to pay for her portion of the capital gains that she received back from closing. And so she has to pay that. And then she, because she's such a good friend, gave half that proceed from the closing back to her friend Katie. And so she had some things out of pocket that she ended up having to pay. Okay. But I think at the end of the day, she was okay with it because she just kind of wanted to be done with it. And she learned a good lesson, too, from that situation. And, I hope she doesn't do it again. But, it's a great lesson for her. Right. And it's a great lesson for everyone else, Like, should you consider co-signing for someone, especially if you're not going to live with them? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So just going back to this question that they asked me. So is it a good idea I assuming no, right?
Well, I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say yes or no. It just kind of depends on the situation. If it was me and I'm not going to be living in the house, I probably wouldn't do it. But should you do it if that's you and that's your situation? If you're willing to take the risk, if you really trust your friend like Tina did, if things turn out, great. If it doesn't, then, there are other situations and stories where I've heard where they weren't even able to close and they had to go to court to force the other party to sell. And so it could get even more uglier as well. So it just kind of depends on how well you know this person. If they can no longer purchase, are you able to reconcile and be able to have an exit strategy with them? And if not, then I would say don't do it. But if it was me, I wouldn't do it.
There you go. I hope this story shines a light on those of you who are thinking about helping a friend or family co-signing for their home. Do like and share our videos so that we could do more videos like this in the future. Till next time, see ya.